Hey, what's going on? My name's Daniel McLaughlin and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're actually going to jump into the Kemper a little bit more. I've got a summer of gigs coming up, a summer of country gigs. We're going to be playing outdoor parties, festivals, maybe some bars. We'll see, the whole thing depending on what's open. Alright, so anyway, we're going to build out a Kemper Performance. Now last year when I was playing with this band, I was playing a lot with my amp and my pedal board. I didn't actually own the Kemper yet. So now we're going to be making good use of the Kemper, but in a way that's a little bit more akin to how a pedal board would be laid out. I do see a couple different schools of thought regarding how you set up performances. I actually recently got the Junkie worship packs with a bunch of presets for each individual worship song in case you're ever playing at a church or something. That's a very convenient thing. However, each individual song has its own collection of profiles, its own collection of effects, considering that the country band that I play in has about 80 songs on their set list. So instead we're going to approach it in a bit of a different way. We're going to come into the rig manager, we're going to build out 5 profiles in one performance. We're going to call it Summer Country Set, and we're going to add effects to each of those 5 profiles to cover all the tones that we need for the gig. You can see how this works a little bit more like a pedal board. It's more consistent in the tones across the board. This gig is a little bit more of a run and gun gig too, where we're just kind of calling songs as we're playing them. So I might not have that time available to be able to search through my presets. I just need to be able to pull up a tone and play. So with that, I've already thought out a little bit of a roadmap for the tones we're going for. We have 5 slots that we can put profiles in. I'm thinking the first one is going to be like a vintage clean, like maybe a tweed sound. The second one is going to be a modern clean. The third one is going to be like an edge of breakup sound. The fourth one is going to be like an 80s style overdrive or gain. And then the fifth one is going to be like a modern gain, kind of similar to like a Friedman or like a new Marshall, definitely not like a Mesa Boogie. This is country after all. All right, so I'm going to go pop down in the corner and we're going to pull up Rig Manager here. As you can see, we have a couple of performances available. Let's go ahead and get this performance going. We're going to call this Summer Country. All right, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to load it up with our profiles. The profile selection should be a pretty easy process. I'm going to grab my guitar so that we can demo some stuff. This is my Fender Custom Shop 52 Tele. This is what I'm going to be playing on the gig. Hello. All right, so digging in. I've got my profiles here on my profiler. I need to change that overall. This is actually the first gig I'm playing on the Kemper. So for this first profile, I could pick from my Filmosound pack. Some of this tweed stuff sounds really good. I might try this guy though. This is my my new pack I'm working on. This is a 56 Fender Tweed 5F1 Champ, and it's actually right back there. I'm working on it right now as just a pack. So maybe we road test this guy. I may be the only one who finds this the truth, but Rig Manager is very frustrating for me in that it doesn't save a lot of the times. So you may find me coming down here into the store performance a lot, or I may be leaning down to my Kemper stage right over here and making sure that it's saved. But I find the Rig Manager very frustrating after a little while. Okay, so number 2, we're thinking about a modern clean. The thing that actually pops into my mind for a modern clean, especially for country, you might think like a Dumble, you might think a Fender, I think maybe an AC30 of some sort, and actually, there's a great, here it is, I usually sort it like this. This is like the greatest patch of all, or the greatest profile of all time. It's actually a little loud, but it's the AC20 by RM Pacheco here on the Rig Exchange. So I think we're going to grab this and go ahead and throw it in our number 2. All right, number 3. Number 3 is going to be an edge of breakup sound. So thinking about that, I really like the way that my Filmosound sounds when it's breaking up. So maybe we use that. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead. Is it already here? Yes, it is. All right, so we got the Filmosound Big Crunch. The Big Crunch actually is a 115 cabinet made by Ampeg. So it's a pretty cool sound. It's a big sound, really great for rhythm. Personally, that and the Tweed from that pack are my favorites. Now we need like an 80s high gain. And when I think of 80s high gain, I think of like a Plexi. Like a Marshall Plexi. Let's see. I know Tone Junkie has a great, here it is, the purple Plexi pack. This is a very, very cool pack. A lot of it sounds really good. I have the first version, and I think I got the V2 version. Let's hear it. That's very cool. I like that a lot. One thing I will say about Tone Junkie is that the labeling scheme sometimes can be a little confusing. Even though I'm a very big fan of their products, I think HW probably makes the best packs out there. And so, as far as I know, J stands for jumpered in this case. 4 is the amount of gain that they've got. H means that there's a different cabinet. I believe it's an orange cabinet. And then if you do this plus sign, that means that there is a clon baked into it, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit of a difference. A little bit more top end, obviously a little bit more gain, but we're going to go without the clon for this one. We could maybe do like a train wreck. I know the Carl Verheyen pack actually has a train wreck in there. Let's see, where's the Verheyen pack? I'm actually liking the Plexi still. So let's go ahead down and select that HJ. The last one I want is like a modern lead or a modern gain. And when I think of that, I think like a Friedman. And I know some of the favorite packs of mine, even though they take a lot of tweaking, are from the Carl Verheyen packs. This is a Friedman. The way that this works is that they list the microphone that is being used to record it. So I would think for a modern thing, it would either be maybe a 57 sound, an SM57. Either that or an AKG 414. I'm liking the AKG a little bit more, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that that's in our number 5. So here we go. We've got our nice summer country pack. I'm going to go ahead and store it. I hit store on the Kemper just in case as well, so that way if we click away, when we come back, everything's still there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to deal with some of the effects that we've got on here, and then we're going to just kind of tweak the overall sounds of each of them. I know I'm going to have this Telecaster, so we're going to want to put a small noise gate on everything. Maybe right here around the 2.8, lock that in so that it goes for all of the effects. All right, and then this noise gate actually sits here just in case I do ever want to use my Les Paul. I can kind of turn this off. This is just for a little bit of a bonus noise gate. A small compressor just to kind of get a little bit of a rounding out of the guitar. Sometimes these tellies can be a little thin, so a compressor can kind of make them a little bit stronger. If you listen to how it sounds though, it really doesn't do a whole lot. Maybe it increases the volume a bit, but it's not doing a ton. We could actually turn up the squash maybe a little bit, maybe turn up the intensity a bit. Yeah. We're going to leave the gain stages for just a sec because I want to have 2 gain stages there. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to move this over here because that's where our effects are going to go. This Studio EQ actually is, I took this from Tone Junkie and I like it a lot. And then I tweaked it a little bit for my own personal sound. I know that there's a little bit of a frequency here at about 1200 hertz that I kind of want to get rid of. So we'll take that down just a hint. That'll come into play with the other sounds as well, but we're going to go ahead and lock that in. Tremolo, I want that on my Tweed Champ, but I'm not going to really have that on anything else, so we're going to turn that off, but leave that there. Then finally the reverb. Let's go ahead and make sure that this has enough reverb, so I'm going to turn up the room size, give it a hint of pre-delay, maybe 40 milliseconds. Turn up the mix, and then the decay time a little bit too. Thinking that sounds pretty good. I do want to check out the amplifier for this real quick because it's sounding a little loud to me. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a bit. The compressor is always a nice one to have set up because that helps the touch sensitivity of the amp. Definition is good and clarity for something like a Tweed Champ that doesn't really like have a whole lot of definition, especially when you're kind of getting a little crunchy. So that's where we're going. The presence I turned down a little bit. The treble I turned down a little bit. Mids, when you're in a band situation, it's important to have some mids because that's really where the guitar lies. And then the gain is good. So I'm thinking that sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and store this. And then I'm also going to store it down here onto the Morgan. So if you listen to this, that's loud compared to this one. So we're going to definitely need to turn that down quite a bit. Its default was up at like 8.3, so that's interesting. So we've got our locked in effects. Everything looks good. I'm going to have to change these up in a little bit. Coming down here to the Filmosound. Let's hear how this sounds. I think it sounds pretty good so far. I'm actually going to add a little bit of mids, take down the treble and the presence just a bit. I'm actually going to take down the gain a little bit too. I just want it to be right at the edge of breakup, and I think we need a little bit more volume too. Cool. So that sounds good. We're going to store it. Plexi. Sounds good to me. I think we might scoop it out just a little bit more, as was the thing to do in the 80s. Turn down the presence a bit. But overall, I think that sounds good. And then next we got this Friedman. So, a little too much gain for me. Take out a little bit of the mids, kind of scoop it once again. Maybe put a little bit of the touch sensitivity compressor on there, maybe a little bit of clarity. I think that sounds good though. So now that we have that, we're actually going to kind of get into the danger zone of editing these things, and that's where we add in effects that will ultimately potentially carry over onto other things where we don't want them to go. Ultimately, we're just going to tread with caution and again, save as much as we can. So let's go back to this sound. So right now we can go ahead and unselect all of our locks because we don't need to save them on all of our profiles anymore. So now we're going to look at the effects that I'm going to be turning on and off during the show. Things like the gain stages, things like a longer delay, maybe a slapback, the tremolo. So here I've got a treble booster. I don't think I want a treble booster for this one. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. Instead, we're going to opt for a lead booster. Let's see what the solo sounds like. Sounds a little nasty, but it also sounds like a Tweed Champ. So I think we're going to leave that. And that's actually something that I'm going to want on all of my effects. So we're going to leave that on there. This one is actually going to be a very light overdrive because we don't want to push this one too hard. This is that Tweed Champ. Let's see. I'm thinking the green scream, maybe crunch. Gotta make sure this is off. So obviously we want to make sure that the volume is not lower than where it was when we had it off. That's kind of gain staging 101. The tone will help it cut a little bit more. Alright, I think that sounds good. Our tremolo sounds like this. That's just a light tremolo to kind of blend a little bit more. I include that on all of my Filmosound packs. I think it sounds really good. I'm trying to make it sound like Blake Mills a little bit more. So yeah. And then our single delay, I think we want to have it be a bit of a slapback. So let's go ahead and find like a slapbacky preset, and then we'll alter it. Let's see. Tape slapback 1. Let's hear it. All right, well, that's not a slapback. So feedback 0. Let's hear it without reverb real quick. A little too much time in between there, I think. No, that's not enough. Sounds pretty good. And then the mix needs to just be a little bit lower. I think that sounds good. Flutter, grit, I'm sure that's fine. Maybe give it a little bit more highs, a little less lows. Cool. And I think that sounds good. I'm actually going to want that to carry over into the next performance, so I'm going to go ahead and lock that. All right, so the Morgan. Here we are. We got the delay on there. I'm going to go ahead and unlock this one because we don't want it to carry over into the big crunch. All right, so we've got the lead booster. Let's hear what this sounds on here. Sounds right. Here we're going to put a little bit more of an aggressive overdrive on here. I always like to kind of start with like a clon. Let's hear what this sounds like. Maybe use a little bit more though. This 1DS is usually pretty good. Let's hear what bright sounds like. I think that sounds pretty good. That sounds complementary to the Morgan. If you notice, the noise is going up though a little bit. So let's go ahead and hit that noise gate a little harder. Thing about the Morgan, we're actually in the set, we play a song called Shut Up and Dance With Me, and I could see the Morgan being used for that. What we need to do now is we actually need to get, instead of this tremolo being our kind of modulation, I'm going to put another delay here. Let's do a dual delay, whatever main station is. We need a dotted quarter note delay. Without the reverb, let's go ahead and test this out to see what we can do. So already it sounds like it's maybe in there. We really only want one repeat. Let's get rid of some of these things like the stereo. We should just have it at 100% or 0%. No chorus, no reverse mix. Start off right there. No smear, no input swell, no flutter, no modulation. Let's hear what this sounds like. I think that sounds pretty good. Let's take the mix down just a little bit, and then we're good to go. Let's go ahead and check out the Filmosound. Here we've got the delay already set, we've got that, we've got the boost. Now really all we need to do is just figure out a gain stage, which will go right here. So here, let's go ahead and jump into the distortion, maybe a Kemper drive. Let's try the Clon 4 again. I actually think that sounds pretty cool. Let's hear what it sounds like stacked with the lead booster. Let's maybe hear the green screen. A little trebly. Cool. I think that sounds fine. So with that, I think we're good with the Filmosound. I'm going to go ahead and deselect these because we're actually going to move into some different sounds up in the next two. All right, so the Plexi. For here, we want some sort of intense drive. Just for fun, I think let's go ahead and put a Kemper fuzz on there. In fact, I'm going to put that on there because we're playing a song by Bon Jovi called You Give Love a Bad Name, and that's got a big kind of fuzzy intro that's pretty cool. Maybe Elliot and I will double that, which would be fun. But the Kemper fuzz should be a cool way of utilizing that gain stage. I'm going to go ahead and lock this in because maybe we can use it for the next one too. We're also playing a song, Pour Some Sugar on Me, and that one has a little bit of a volume swell in the solo section. So instead of bringing an expression pedal, I'm just going to go ahead and put an auto swell feature on here. Cool, I think that sounds fun. And then right here, just given that this is like 80s hair metal kind of stuff, we need like a big delay. And so let's go ahead and find like a... Take away a little bit of the highs and lows so that it mixes a little bit better. Awesome. I think that sounds pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. And I think we're actually good here on the Friedman too, because I'm not going to change too much on there. Just to hear what this sounds like, let's hear what... I think that sounds pretty good. So we're all set with this. We're all set with our sounds. The next thing I need to do is just make sure that each of the sounds is programmed to the foot switch on the Kemper stage. And then I'm ready to play the show. It's always a good idea to back these performances up onto like a flash drive or something just so that you don't lose them. But yeah, this should be plenty of tones to get me through 80 songs at a outdoor party. Kind of a different video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave me a like. I'd really appreciate that. I think I still have that discount code if you were interested in picking up the Filmosound pack or any of my other packs. I think it's powered for 50% off your purchase. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.